Today, Precarious plays Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Do you have any questions before we start racing? Because my ability to talk is going to drop precipitously.
I don't remember what race we're on. Where were we?
We are just about halfway through the game.
Okay.
We are pretty close to the middle of the second of 3 tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're just going to start. I have to remember the confirm button is a little funny. There we go. Okay.
So who are you going to race as?
Slide Paramita.
Paramita. Sounds like Paramecium.
Those parts are looking all right, but can they be better? I think this one might be the tops.
Didn't you, just get a really good trade?
I got several really good. I am the best at the trades. Nah, I'm gonna hold off on that one. I think the rotary power plug might be one of the best ones, but I'm gonna cool my jets on that one.
Outlanders, they come here. How do they find me?
Looking at some of these parts, they're all pretty equally mysterious, but some of them are very minimal. And sometimes I think about I don't know, what if the entire world, building things worked on Lego blocks? And, the components were always entirely hidden. So, you just pushed materials together and they would work together.
Boop, boop, boop. I don't think I take your meaning.
I mean, what if there was a completely flat-sided, even machined cube, and that cube was a motor, but then there was an equally sized cube that had no surface properties other than perhaps being roughly the same size as the motor cube, and it was the transmission. So, what if things didn't look like what they did?
So, Minecraft?
I guess Minecraft, but Minecraft blocks do look like what they did.
But they don't. They don't have to. That's part of the appeal of... Whoop. Okay, overcorrection. It's fine. That's part of the appeal of the sticky, pushy blocks, because you can create doodads and gizmos that are obscured. Mm-hmm. Secret tunnels and what have you. And die.
Yeah, but I mean, what if in real life? I suppose it's no different. I suppose it's no different than having, hard drives that you can't see the internals on and things like that.
Yeah.
Solid state drives are pretty crazy, even when you can see the inside parts of it. But I'm just looking forward.
So you can't even hear what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a time when I have a stick and it is what I want it to be. So reverting back to childhood, but with hyper advanced technology.
And see, I am actually hoping more for the other direction, where more things look like what they contain.
Oh my gosh, we've had this.
Let me give you probably the easiest example. I would love if egg cartons were giant eggs.
And then you just got the eggs out of the egg cartons.
Right.
What if egg cartons were instead giant chickens?
That would be acceptable, I guess. I'm really close to the end. I think I'm just gonna boost my way through. Okay. Ugh.
The last few races we did were pretty hard, weren't they?
Yeah, and the problem is that this game is really hard to sit down and just play again without a warm-up. That was brutal. You saw by the end how banged up I was.
So would you in your past just go play through this in a day?
Oh, no. I wasn't nearly so technically proficient. whenever I was playing this as a child.
But, like, how long would it take you to beat it, usually?
Well, I mean, months, like a long time, because. So I should, before we start this, because I'm not super looking forward to this track anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Before we start, whenever I was growing up, I would go to my great-grandparents' house every day after school, Monday through, Tuesday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was only allowed to play video games during the week. On the weekdays, I was only allowed to play video games there.
Mm.
And it was an arbitrary rule. It didn't make any sense. And it wound up causing a lot of problems later in life. Like whenever I started to recognize that it was arbitrary and didn't make sense, because it gave me something to focus on, and it's like, oh, so you're just a petty tyrant, aren't you, parent? And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. So renting it, I'd only essentially have maybe 6 hours a week to play it, maybe, if that's all I did. And I didn't usually rent it I rented it a lot, but I didn't rent it consecutively. And I wasn't nearly so good at actually playing the game then. So yeah, I have no idea how long it would have taken me then. Like, I don't think I actually cleared it very, maybe more than once. I might have stopped renting it because I finally beat it. Wait a second. Is that better? Yeah, well, it's better and it's damaged and it's not super expensive besides, so I guess I'll take one of those.
That piece right there. Go back.
Hold on, I will.
Okay.
You know what? I think, yeah, give me that top speed reduction for this race. What about it?
That object looks so esoteric to me. It's just comical. Like, it looks strange.
I don't know what you're talking about. Looks pretty regular to me.
I don't know. All of these other things look like what I am familiar with as car and spaceship parts, whereas that, like, ring-shaped weirdness is not. For some reason, it does not make the list.
Okay, so I would say right after the asteroid mining level, this is probably the next hardest for a reason that you'll be able to see soon. I'll try to explain what makes it difficult while this little video plays. There are usually 2 tiers of track available, and sometimes the only way to place well in a race is to stay on the top one. But they are quite narrow. And you can fall off the top track to wind up on the bottom track, which probably by design, I think that it's probably like the purpose of this space, of this stage. It is more punishing than if you just blew up. Right, here we go.
What do you like about this racer?
The shape of the racer, I think, lends itself. It's very small and nimble and narrow. Okay, it's fine. Let's try to get out ahead here. It's sort of like, it's what's good about Anakin's.
Yeah.
But with generally superior stats, if I remember correctly. Okay, alright. Oh. I see somebody trailing me. Is this it? Is this the one? Okay.
I kind of dig the clouds here. I have to say, all of these racetracks are pretty well considered as far as like the scenery, the lighting, the clouds, the crowds, the signage. I would like them.
Okay, all right.
We are in this octave now. I have moved to a higher plane of fear and existence.
That's. Oh boy. Oh man. Ain't that just life with greater understanding? You've unlocked greater understanding and greater fear. It's a match. I'm happy to report that this. So all of the tracks, they're circuits, right? Mm-hmm. But they have points where they are modified and divert. You know? Mm-hmm. But this array of this environment doesn't have that 2-level split design that I was worried about.
Oh, okay. Oh, I never like jumps.
It's not a jump, it's more of just a...
It's a fall.
It's a fall.
Worse. Hey. Oh, man. You know, it's funny. As fearful and cautious as I am about video games, like especially platformers and things, like there's nothing that makes me more palm sweaty, stressed out than any decent platformer, okay?
Really?
Yes, it makes me so stressed out. I don't want to fall. And that's like the main failure state.
Oh, man.
That's the main failure state.
No.
Get him.
I don't know if I can.
You can. You will. You will get them. See, I told you got them. Okay.
Not yet, I haven't. I probably only have one more of those in me this race. Like one more error like that, I mean, one more fault.
The main failure state of platformers is usually falling, and I hate it. But that's how the game tells you that you need to get better, is by dropping you off a cliff. And it's frightening. But IRL, roller coasters are great, man. And I love heights. And I might not go bungee jumping, but, you know, I wouldn't, like, I don't know. I would go bungee jumping, but I'm not interested in going bungee jumping.
No, thank you.
If that makes sense. Like, it's not one of the things I'm crossing off the list if somebody's like, hey, you need to go bungee jumping for work or something. I would be like, okay.
See, look at all these stats. Look at these numbers. So many meters are so close to full. I don't think Anakin gets quite so full on all these meters. But the main thing that I like, let me see if I can show you here. The main thing that I like is that just look how little space this pod takes up on the screen.
Yeah, it is it's really tiny.
Yeah.
Like, the droid is bigger than the pod. Well, not quite, but if he stretched out.